Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. This is my second of my top 25 drivers list. This one is for Formula cars, so expect to see lots of single-seater drivers here, and this is based almost entirely on their single-seater performances. In the case of people who have successes in sports cars or in prototypes, we're not going to really be talking about that here. In 25th is Oliver Behrman. He was 12th in his second F2 season, however he had 3 F1 starts in 2024. Firstly for Ferrari, and then 2 more for Haas. One replacing a suspended Kevin Magnussen, the second replacing a nil Kevin Magnussen. He scored points on his debut with Ferrari in 7th, and then in Baku ended up doubling it up with a 10th place finish. In 24th is Antonio Felix da Costa. 6th in Formula E this season when his teammate won the title, but the double champion has still performed well. He got 4 wins, 3 in a row as well, with Shanghai 2 and the double header in Portland. No other driver could accomplish such a feat this season. In 23rd is Franco Colapinto. 9th in F2 despite missing the last 3 events. He got points in his second race with Williams, and he did have costly shunts. There's no two ways about that, but performances he had put him on the radar for other teams for the future. There were times where he was even being talked about as a potential Alpine or Red Bull system driver. Likewise, an impressive driver who also crashed in their F1 debut, 22nd is Andrea Kimi Antonelli. 6th in F2 as a rookie, he impressed in that Monza FP1 session until he crashed. In fact, there was a really interesting spin at the time where they were like, oh, he was actually faster than George was and faster than Lewis could have been. Next season, he'll be the first rookie with Mercedes since Carl Kling in 1954. He was age 43, turned 44 when the season went on, and he'll be replacing Car 44, won't he? Let's see what Antonelli can do. 21st is Leonardo Fordaroli. He was the F3 champion with Trident, and it was a good job in the end. Quite a convincing title win, helped by the rival disqualification finale. Ended the season with Rodin in F2, P10 on his debut in the Yas Marina Sprint. Opening our top 20 is Abby Pulling. She dominated F1 Academy this season with 9 wins across the 15 rounds. In fact, Pulling never finished off the podium and only had 1 third place. Tells you how convincing the Alpine Junior was. She's moving across to GB3 next season, and all the best to her. I look forward to seeing what she does out on the track there. In 19th is Sho Suboi, the Super Formula champion. Outside of this, he was the GT500 and Super GT champion, so it's not the last we'll see of him in terms of the lists this year. However, the caliber in terms of competition in the Super Formula is slightly lower than it has been in past seasons, especially with no Red Bull juniors like Lawson or Gasly there. In 18th is Colton Herta, second at the end of the season in Indycar. Could have been a lot higher though if not for mistakes and other issues. In the finale, he wasn't really in the title contention in the same way that Will Power was. Elsewhere, Herta helped Acura win the Sebring 12 Hours. Let's see what Herta can do next season, especially with a potential Andretti Formula 1 entry on the horizon. In 17th was Liam Lawson. Came in at the last minute to replace Ricciardo, having been his substitute last season. Lawson got 2 points finishes at Cotra Interlagos, running well in the latter before dropping back near the end. It's rumoured that he could be replacing Sergio Perez at Red Bull. In fact, that stuff has been rumoured about for ages. He performed well, especially given the circumstances, though couldn't comprehensively beat Yuki Tsunoda over their rounds together. And in 16th place is Nick Cassidy. 3rd place in Formula E following a 2nd in Season 9. He was let down by retirements and a pointless finish in Portland, but in the end helped the Team Jaguar get the Constructors' Championship. In 15th place is George Russell. He comprehensively beat Lewis Hamilton in this season over the course of the year and has shown potential as a great driver. In fact, you could argue that he won twice this season, though the stat sheet only reflects once. Great tyre whisperer, has great potential as a driver. What he needs to do is he needs to demonstrate the ability to lead the team next season. and also potentially, given what happened at Spa, holding it in for an extra couple of hours. In 14th place is Zane Maloney. Maloney was 4th in F2 despite missing the finale and could have easily had P3 and I think would have been in mathematical contention for P2. Not sure about the title. However, he missed the finale because he was on the other side of the world. He was in Brazil, making a debut in Formula E, where he had a decent start with the brand new Lola Yamaha team that have taken over the Abt Krupa outfit, but faded in the late stages and didn't post points. In 13th, and is it an unlucky 13? Is Sir Lewis Hamilton. The W15 was better than W13. Lewis picked up 2 wins, the first since he lost the title at the end of 2021. Silverstone in particular was a masterclass drive, a typical Hamilton victory. But his heart wasn't in this season. He'd announced his departure to Ferrari before the season had started. And the highs were very, very good. But the lows were also very extreme. In 12th is Gabriel Bortoleto, a rookie champion in F2 following rookie champion in F3. The first since Oscar Piastri did that in 2020 and 2021. Joined a very exclusive club in terms of doing that and picked up the FIA Rookie of the Season as a result. Bortoleto has been trusted by Sauber and Audi to drive alongside Nico Hülkenberg in 2025. Let's see what the young driver does as we see the Brazilian flag returning to F1. In 11th place is Scott McLaughlin. 3rd in Indycar for a 2nd consecutive year. McLaughlin had 3 wins on the year. However, you could probably argue that the St. Petersburg disqualification looms large over the Penske driver. We can see what he will do next time around as well. Opening up the top 10 is Carlos Sainz Jr. It was a standout season for the Spaniard. Bouncing back from appendicitis to take the first non-Max Verstappen win of 2024 at Albert Park. And again, a driver who, at the start of the season, knew he wasn't going to be coming back to that team next season. Lewis Hamilton had already taken his seat. He won again in Mexico and had 8 more podiums, including a sprint podium. He's set himself up well for a challenge against Alex Albon at Williams, the 2 former Red Bull drivers, having a showdown towards the back end of the grid. But yeah, I remember at the start of the season when he won in Australia, I said, will this be the race of the season? Because Verstappen didn't win. And will Sainz be seen as this kind of hero? Top 10 on the year. In 9th place is Mitch Evans. 2nd in Formula E for a 2nd time. I think he was 3rd last season. He opened season 11 with a convincing win in Sao Paulo as well. In the end, it wasn't to be with the championship bid, but he did work well with Nick Cassidy to help Jaguar take the team's championship. In 8th place is Will Power. He was in contention for an IndyCar title until the finale, with the bid being undone quickly thanks to a costly pit road visit. And it was a thing of what could have been. Power did perform well this season and gave Palou a good run for his money. That 3rd title does still loom large. In 7th place is Oliver Rowland, 4th in Formula E despite missing Portland. Got 2 wins in the season, the finale in London as well as Misano, and he's set up a good momentum for season 11 as well with Nissan. I think the highest up driver and almost on his lonesome in terms of non-Jaguar, non-Porsche powered. And above him in 6th place is Pascal Wehrlein, a worthy champion, finally an FIA world champion as well with Porsche. He won thrice with 2 further 2nd places. Wehrlein also scored in all but 2 races in season 10 to take the title, a convincing championship win. And he had started his defence well, until the unfortunate incident at Sao Paulo flipped the car. In 5th place is Lando Norris, and Lando. It looks bad that F1's number 4, this year's vice champion, is only just in the top 5. However, with the year that 2024 could have been, I don't think he deserves to be much higher. Lando had the best car this season. Granted, not for the first 5 races. Heck, perhaps not with absolute certainty for the first 8 or even 10 races. But in most of the races this season, the MCL38 was the car to have. So what happened? It's easy to dunk on Lando for his performances off of pole position. It wasn't until Singapore that he held on to P1 for the entirety of the first lap. But whilst that's a symptom of the problem, it's not the cause. Lando and McLaren were bullish with their predictions this year, but few actually believed we'd have a title battle, let alone one where Red Bull was the 3rd best car come season's end. Though when it came to the actual fight, McLaren and Lando weren't all there. Lando ended the season 67 points adrift of Max, when he was 69 points back after 10 races and 53 after 10. As much as he lost 8 points in Hungary, or gave away 1 in Qatar, more chances went begging because he wasn't the complete package. He ended the season strongly with a lights to flag win from pole at Abu Dhabi, perhaps unopposed because of Max driving into Lando's teammate at the first corner. As Mark Hughes pointed out in the race's Abu Dhabi review, Max did something similar in 2020 before going on to win the title in 2021. Perhaps this win was a sign? It's certainly the target for 2025 regardless. And in 4th place is his teammate, Oscar Piastri. Finally, a race winner, with 2 convincing race wins in Hungary and Baku, with Hungary definitely being a great day for him, even if Lando won out on strategy and had to give the place back in the end. The Baku win was otherworldly, very convincing, and showing why McLaren put their trust in him. The late season dip after Baku did cost him here though. In fact, when I started writing this list, Oscar Piastri was at the top of the list, which tells you how strong that dip in form has been for him to not only be at the top of the Formula list originally, but to have dropped to 4th and to being the 3rd best Formula driver. In 3rd place is Charles Leclerc. Leclerc was the highest scoring driver after Miami, something that Lando, then Oscar, held throughout the season. But in the end, it was Leclerc who ended up having that incredibly consistent run from the number 16, who will be joined by 7-time champions Lewis Hamilton at the Scuderia next season. He finally won at home in Monaco. Pole position, the most important pole position of the season, ended up getting that win, well and truly breaking that curse. He ended with 3 wins on the season, following Monaco with Monza again, and then rounding it off by leading home a 1-2 in Austin for Ferrari, which was a massive deal. First time in ages that we've seen Ferrari getting a 1-2. In 2nd place is Alex Palou. Palou is now a triple Indycar champion. His 3rd title in 4 seasons, and in 5 in Indycar as well. Palou performed well throughout the season, with 3 wins and 3 second places, and a top 5 in the headline Indy 500. Held on to a healthy points cushion and maintained it throughout the year. It was lucky that the late season slump that he encountered didn't cost him the title, though I say it's a slump. At Nashville he did somewhat cruise, helped by the fact that Will Power had his issues on pit road early on, meaning that he could just take it easier for that 3rd title. What's next for Palou? I'm sure people want him to hop back across the pond, especially if there's an American team looking for a accomplished champion to jump into their F1 car. 1st place, however, is hardly surprising. Champion of the world for a 4th time in a row, Max Verstappen is number 1. And to be honest, it's hard to argue anything different. Even though Max had arguably his sloppiest title run since 2021, with multiple messy incidents that were entirely of his own doing. I would argue this was the first title that he won where he definitively did not have the best car on the grid. Granted, until Miami, you could still argue that he did have the best car. Not only did he win 4 of the first 5 races, with the 5th being a retirement for mechanical failure despite getting pole position. His teammate got 3 second places and a 3rd place finish in those 4 races. However, once McLaren's upgrades came alive and Red Bull's faltered, he still had stellar performances. Max had a 69-point lead after Catalunya, but by the time of his next win in Sao Paulo, he was only down to 62 points. A deserved championship, yet another under odd circumstances as he won it on a Saturday again, albeit in the Grand Prix this time in Las Vegas. This makes Max a worthy 4-time champion of the world, and a worthy number 1 on this year's list. And that's that for this video. My final 2 top 25 lists will be coming out at some point in the next week, before the top 100 just before the end of 2024. Thank you so much for watching. I've had a lot of fun doing this. If you want to check out the other videos I've done to do with this series, you can check them out in the description. I might have linked a playlist if I get time as well. But until next time, it's bye bye for now.